We've all faced failure at some point in our life, and it often left us feeling stuck. But what if we told you that failure is the secret weapon to achieving your wildest dreams? You might have come across Paulo Coelho, a famous writer. Well, he said, "The secret of life is to fail 7 times and to get up 8 times." And he couldn't have been more right. So start thinking of failure as your secret weapon, and you'll have opportunities knocking on your front door. But how do you do that? Well, that's exactly what this video is for. But before we get into it, make sure to hit that bell icon and subscribe to our channel for more videos. Number 10. Learning opportunities. If you ask most people, they'll tell you that failure is the opposite of success. But they couldn't be more wrong. But you see, they have good reason to believe that. Typically, failures trigger negative emotions like frustration, self-doubt, and disappointment. But you should think of these emotions as the goblins guarding the pot of gold. For a more successful life and even better mental health, you simply have to defeat these demons. But why should you? Well, allow us to introduce you to the benefits of embracing failure, because there are a bunch of them. One of the biggest advantages of embracing failure is recognizing all the learning opportunities that come along the way. See, every time you fail, you learn exactly what you did wrong. And if the gears in your brain are in order, you'll know that it's in your best interest to analyze those mistakes. Do this enough times and you'll eventually gain a deeper understanding of the hidden cause of your failure and make decisions accordingly in the future. So think of failure as a teacher. Not meeting your goals doesn't mean you're bad at your job. It just means there's room for improvement. And the sooner you realize that, the better it will be for yourself. Number 9. Building resilience. Hit your head against the wall several times and it'll eventually not hurt. We know it's not the best analogy out there, but what we're trying to make you understand is that the more challenges you face, the stronger you become. You'll end up with the ability to face life's challenges head-on, which is the secret to long-term success. You see, every failure is a test. You have 2 choices. Either end up in a spiral or pick yourself up and continue on the path you're on. And if you view failure as the hidden key to success, you'll choose the latter. Michael Jordan, aka the biggest and best basketball player of all time, said, "I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that's why I succeed." And so you should take a page out of Jordan's playbook and work on building that resilience. Number 8. Enhancing creativity and innovation. What's more, most people don't realize it, but failure is one step away from innovation. If you've listened to a TED Talk, which you probably have, you'll know that most entrepreneurs swear by it. They talk about running into a wall several times before that golden light bulb moment. Did you know that Steve Jobs was fired from Apple? He then went on to work with Next Computer and the Lisa computer, but he wasn't exactly a hit there either. It was at this point he returned to Apple and managed to make it the most profitable company in the US. But what if he had hung up the towel after the Lisa computer? Well, it would have been our loss. Instead, Steve went back to the drawing board every time his superiors brought down the hammer on him. So you better start viewing failure as a necessary component on the creative process, because if he can do it, so can you. Number 7. Enhancing self-awareness. What's more, if you choose to tackle your failure head-on, it gives you the rare opportunity to become more self-aware. Most of the time, you'll mess up and you'll cry about it. But the most important part of embracing your failures is asking yourself questions. Why? Well, that's how you figure out your strengths and weaknesses. And this sort of self-reflection can help you better understand just how capable you are and where you need to improve. You'll eventually be able to come up with strategies to cover up your weaknesses, which paves the way for personal growth. Now that you've understood the hidden power of failure, your next question is probably along the lines of how to embrace failure. Well, there are plenty of ways you can do that. Number 6. Reframe your mindset. The first step is reframing your mindset. Basically, you need to rewire your brain and change the way you feel about failure. And no, it's not impossible, even at this point in life. If you've been paying close attention to what we've been saying up until now, you're already halfway there. Keeping that in mind, the next time on the bathroom floor because you messed up, ask yourself questions like, what can I learn from this? Or how can I use this experience to improve? Do this enough times and you'll eventually reach a point where your default response to failure won't be going down a spiral. Your perspective will shift, and you'll be able to unlock a whole other life. Number 5. Practice self-compassion. Of course, the key part of this entire journey is learning to be kind to oneself. Why? Well, failure brings out the critic inside us. And sure, it's good to place yourself under a microscope and dissect everything you do. However, left unchecked, self-criticism can hinder growth and reinforce negative feelings. And so that's where self-compassion comes in, which is why the next time you're being your own boss, take a step back and give yourself a virtual pat on the back for putting your best foot forward. Heck, you could even treat yourself when you mess up instead of spiraling about it. Number 4. Set realistic goals. And you know what else self-compassion means? It means taking it easy and not setting unrealistic goals. Most of us have a roadmap for life, and when we fail to achieve our personal milestones, we end up in a slump. Now, in some cases, the goals simply could be too unrealistic. And the way to fix this is simple. Set smaller, achievable goals. When you take this route, the likelihood of you experiencing failure decreases, and that's naturally going to give you a confidence boost. This shall also allow you to slowly build resilience to deal with the more serious stuff life throws your way. Number 3. Embrace a growth mindset. Next, while embracing the hidden power of failure, you'll need to take on a growth mindset. Basically, train your mind to think that everything is a learning experience. But how exactly would that help? Well, you'll learn that it's not always a win and lose situation. Even if you fall down, fall flat on your face, you can get up if you take away a lesson or two from everything. Once you take on this mindset, you'll feel more comfortable taking risks and pursuing your passion without the fear of not measuring up to others' expectations of you, and even your own. Did you know that the biggest hotshot, Steven Spielberg, was rejected from film school? In fact, he applied twice at the University of Southern California, and they turned him away. But today, he's got $8.5 billion thanks to the numerous credits to his name, all because he simply viewed each obstacle as an opportunity to grow, allowing him to become one of the best directors today. So if you've got plans about starting a new business, or maybe you're going back and forth on whether you should hit up that new girl you've been crushing on for weeks, well, there ain't no time like the present. And if it's any comfort, you won't find anything with a 100% success rate. Number 2. Learn from others. Perhaps you can find the biggest comfort in the fact that you're not alone in this journey. That coworker who bagged that promotion and has his life all together, he probably had a tough time in school. Now, he might not necessarily fill you in on that, but there are plenty of people around the world who have laid out their stories for the public. Take Henry Ford, for example. Yes, we're talking about the person behind the luxury car brand. That man experienced multiple business failures before he was able to find the Ford Motor Company. And so learning about his journey and others like him can provide inspiration and practical insight, allowing you to carry on with the same resilience as them. And so read up stories of those who made it big. Heck, you could even talk to your friends about it. Number 1. Understanding why some succeed and others don't. Before we wrap up the video, we'd like to address an important question. Some of you might be wondering why some people succeed after failing, while others go on to talk about their inspirational journeys in front of thousands. Well, it's about the number of attempts you make. Say you've got a code that's simply not coming together, and instead of going back to it again and again, you choose to scrap the entire thing together. What's more, it also comes down to your ability to build on your earlier attempts. If you've crossed a certain threshold, you'll most likely succeed. But if you don't cross the threshold, well, we can't promise you victory. And so keeping that in mind, the moment you feel like giving up, don't. Because that's exactly the moment you should give it your all. Who knows? Your third attempt might be the charm. And so at the end of the day, failure is not the big bad monster. It can actually change your life for the better. You just need the right tools. Speaking of which, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more content just like this.